Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, 30th of September 2023. I'll be reading to close out this week. Being that I was dealing with the Targums all week, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to be reading from the Targums the story of Jacob when he fled from Esau after he received the blessing. We're going to give some more information on that. So, with that being said, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have a lot of videos with a lot of information in it. And these videos will connect dots for you, lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Try to get our subscribers, okay? And if you want to donate or you feel the need to support the channel, you can go down to the bottom of the screen and get our cash out. Okay, this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Tanakh that was given to Moses, and they include way of life, our culture, the laws, statutes, the commandments, judgments that we were obligated to perform as a people. Okay, so with that being said, I want to say shalom and welcome to the channel. Welcome to this, and welcome to our Sabbath class. We're going to do before we get into reading from the Targums, we're going to do our moment of silence, prayer, our Sabbath prayer. We read the Psalms. Then we'll try to come up to par on what's going on with current events and what's going on around in the world. We have a little need to know information. So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and for our Creator Yahweh and all that they're doing to return us to our homeland and bring about the prophecies that have been prophesied about us in these last days. Oh Lord, we come this day praising Thee and worshiping Thee for Thy might and Thy power and Thy great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that You have foretold are upon unto us by our forefathers are upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that has been foretold. And thank You for another Shabbat. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide Thy word, that we may deliver it in righteousness and in truth. And there is great confusion among Your inheritance, O Lord, now that You have awakened us. Okay, says, for I know, O Lord, Your hand is sure and that Your hand is firm. O Lord, we need You so very much in these latter days. And we will tarry and depend upon You, O Lord, because there is none else besides You, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto You. Okay. So with that being said, somebody want to read the song right quick?
Yes.
Somebody want to read the song?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. Shalom, everyone. I will read Psalm 28, a plea for deliverance. Psalms 28, and this is a psalm of David. Verse 1, unto Thee will I cry, O Lord, my rock. Be not silent to me, lest if Thou be silent to me, I become like them that go down into the pit. 2, hear the voice of my supplications when I cry unto Thee, when I lift up my hands towards Thy holy oracle. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief in their hearts. Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands, render them their desert. 5, because they regard not the works of the Lord, nor the operations of His hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. Blessed be the Lord, because he had heard the voice of my supplications. 7. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusteth in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoiceth, and with my song will I praise him. The Lord is their strength, and he is the saving strength of his anointed. Verse 9. Save thy people and bless thine inheritance. Feed them also and lift them up forever. That was Psalms 28, a plea for deliverance.
Okay. Anybody any comments on that? Okay, so with that being said, we'll go into our some current events and then break it down. Okay.
Distinguished Whip, Catherine Clark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leader, and I want to join.
So if you're not abreast of what's going on, this the last day right here before the shutdown starts, if they don't come up with some kind of resolution.
And taking a moment to honor and remember Senator Feinstein. And just wanted to add to her incredible legacy is also one as a role model to women. The first woman mayor of San Francisco, part of the 1992 Year of the Woman, and someone who has really smashed ceilings, broken ground for those of us who get to follow and stand on her shoulders. And what a contrast to that legacy of service to what we're witnessing in the House today. Another wasted day on voting on an extreme right-wing bill with zero chance of becoming law. Another day of fighting among the MAGA Republicans. Another day wasted talking about deficits while failing to take up the bipartisan agreement we already entered into that would reduce the deficit by $1.5 trillion. So now, weeks after political theater, we are one day from a disastrous Republican government shutdown. So let's take a moment to talk about the people who are truly at the center of this story. It's not Speaker McCarthy. It's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's not Matt Gaetz. It's the service members who will work without a paycheck. It's the firefighters who will be furloughed. It's the early educators who will have to leave their classroom. It's the moms and parents who will be left scrambling for childcare. The MAGA shutdown comes down to this. House Republicans have chosen extremism over everyday people. They've chosen abortion bans over baby formula. They've chosen teacher layoffs over the well-being of our students. They've chosen cuts to Social Security, cuts to Head Start, cuts to the VA over a commitment to our continued economic recovery. The House has been hijacked by extremists obsessed with making life harder and more expensive for working people. It does not have to be this way. This impending disaster can still be averted if just a handful of Republicans would stop listening to Donald Trump, if just a few members would honor their oath of office and say enough is enough. It's not too late to work for our country and not against it. It's not too late to come back from the edge. It is not too late to pass a bipartisan continuing resolution and enact the agreement we reached and voted on back in May. But if I was
Okay, so like I said today, what you're listening to is the Democrats trying to plead with these nut buckets, the Republicans, the extremists, racists, and like I said, I don't think it's gonna work. You know, maybe after a month or so, after the shutdown, after they cause all kind of havoc, they'll do something. But I don't see nothing happening today. I think tomorrow we'll be in the middle of a shutdown. Any comments on that? Okay. Yeah, so yesterday, last night, and Thursday, we kind of talked about, especially last night, about China role in in Ezekiel 38. Godly make out and all that, and how they, how do we know it's them, and how what the role is. So I'm gonna play this right here, like I was saying. You got, when you understand scripture, that Esau, from when they was born, when the two boys was born, either Esau is ruling or Jacob is ruling. And we know right now, Jacob was cast out of his land back in 143 BC, and Esau been ruling ever since. You just gotta, once you understand that, when Esau came out, which he never supposed to have been there, but when he came out, Esau reached out and grabbed his heel, they was wrestling, trying to be the first, be the firstborn. And the same story with Cain and Abel. Cain wasn't supposed to be there. The serpent had relationships with Eve and put Cain there. He wasn't supposed to be there. And knowing that, he came out first. He got the birthright. And then eventually killed Abel. But so anyway, that's what that's all about. So if Jacob ain't ruling, Esau ruling. And if Esau ain't ruling, Jacob ruling. So we knowing today, if anything is going on, you got to go to the Esau. He behind it. And then we know that because Esau, he's ruling the world by the sword. And one of the reasons he's doing that, he's going against our laws, statutes, and judgments when it comes to usury and comes to money and material things. He obtaining them unjustly, like the Lord of hosts says, unjust balances, usury. It's in the banking system, it's in everything, and they're using the banking system. The reason why Jacob is at the bottom of the food chain. So Jacob is not a part of the system that's in place, which is the beast system that they got set up. You're not a part of it. They can go and get, they got access to money, access to materials and wealth, whereas we don't. A prime example is what we're looking at now with the shutdown. So anyway, so you have to understand that. So understanding that, we know that behind the scenes, the Rothschilds, the Zionists, is promoting China and Russia. They're the ones coming up with all these schemes and Ponzi schemes and getting all this money. So let's look at it. Notice what it says in that. China.
Starting on January 2024, 6 countries will attain official membership status within BRICS. Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have received invitations to become full members, effective from the upcoming year. The inclusion of these 6 nations into the BRICS alliance unmistakably represents a significant victory for the original 5-member countries. However, the most prominent beneficiary is undoubtedly China, currently the world's 2nd largest economy. In today's video, we will delve into China's strategic plans in light of the addition of these 6 new BRICS members. If you enjoy content like this, you've come to the right place. Before we proceed, please ensure you subscribe to our channel to stay updated with more intriguing videos covering events in Asia. Recently, the 2023 BRICS Summit convened in South Africa, during which the host country announced that over 40 nations had expressed their interest in joining BRICS, with 23 submitting formal applications. On the surface, the selection of these 6 new members was the result of a consensus among BRICS countries regarding the guiding principles, standards, criteria, and procedures for the expansion of the BRICS alliance. However, when we delve deeper into the situation, the inclusion of Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates into BRICS provides insight into the emerging global order that China aims to influence. China has persistently advocated for expanding the alliance and increasing its influence, even in the face of reservations from other members like India and Brazil. This expansion marks the first enlargement of the bloc since the inclusion of South Africa in 2010, and is poised to more than double the group's membership, thereby significantly broadening its global footprint, particularly in the Middle East. BRICS could emerge as dominant players in the oil and gas industry. With the inclusion of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran, this expanded BRICS group would encompass 3 of the world's largest oil exporting nations, accounting for 42% of the global oil supply. It's important to note that the management of the oil market will continue to fall under the jurisdiction of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allied producers, commonly known as OPEC+. However, looking into the future, the enlarged BRICS alliance could exert a significant influence on energy markets.
It looks like the Fed has just declared war.
Over the years, OPEC+ member states have voiced concerns about Western energy sanctions affecting countries like Iran and Venezuela, which have restricted investment and export capabilities. More recently, the European Union's embargoes on Russian seaborne crude oil and petroleum products, along with EU G7 price caps, have introduced a new sanctions mechanism targeting revenue rather than export volumes. Other oil and gas exporters are growing increasingly cautious about the possibility of future sanctions tools targeting them and are wary of G7 interventions that have reshaped energy trade dynamics. An expanded BRICS group would consist of both oil and gas exporters and 2 of the world's largest importers, China and India. Notably, both China and India have abstained from joining the price cap coalition aimed at Russia. In this context, producers and consumers within this group share a common interest in establishing mechanisms for trading commodities that are less susceptible to the influence of the G7 financial sector. This undertaking presents significant challenges. This suggests the potential for the petrodollar system to face collapse. As energy sanctions continue to proliferate, an increasing number of bilateral energy agreements are being settled in alternative currencies like the Chinese renminbi or Indian rupees. However, conducting oil or gas import payments in select currencies is still a long way from achieving full internationalization. This would involve third-party usage of the renminbi for transactions between other nations. While the current expansion of BRICS has mainly symbolic implications for energy markets, it serves as yet another indication that countries are exploring strategies to bypass the US financial system and reduce dependence on the dollar. Consider the scenario where all BRICS members decide to conduct oil transactions using currencies other than the US dollar. It's crucial to remember that 3 of the largest oil exporting nations, namely Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE, are part of BRICS alongside 2 of the world's leading oil importers, China and India. Therefore, if the BRICS coalition were to shift away from the petrodollar, it could trigger a process of de-dollarization, potentially leading to a substantial reduction in the dollar's market influence. And if that happens, China will be the biggest winner because renminbi will rise while the dollar falls. The expansion of BRICS and its implications for global energy security. The global landscape is rapidly evolving, particularly with the ascendance of electric vehicles. China, as the world's largest EV market, recorded the sale of 5.9 million units in 2022, accounting for 59% of global EV sales. China has firmly established itself as a major force in the EV sector, surpassing the European Union, the United States, and Japan. This graph shows that when focusing on passenger cars exclusively, China's share of the total global EV sales, reaching 10.2 million units in 2022, stood at an impressive 57.8%.
So let's look at that right quick. First of all, you have to look at, in breaking this down and understanding it, in Daniel, the vision, one of the Daniel visions was that the 4 beasts, he went into it was explained to him that the 4 beasts was going to be you still the whole time ever since Rome came on the scene, we still dealing with Rome. We had all these different nations through their so-called history, the history books. These different nations coming and rising, but nobody seemed to know that it's still Rome. The vision that was given and the understanding was given to Daniel was that there's only 4 beasts. So ever since the Romans, Chechen, and Julius Caesar came on the scene, we still dealing with the Roman Empire, that system. So what's going on? But Daniel tells us 10 different incarnations of that fourth beast gonna come on the scene. It's still the fourth beast. So how do you look? How do you observe that and look at it? It's wrong, which is Edom, Esau. So what is he doing? He's going from one place to the next. Like I said, rehashing the same thing, but he's not. He's behind the scenes. So when you look at it right here, he's showing you that China is way surpassing everybody in electric cars. That's what's coming on the scene, electric cars. Well, Esau went to China. He set all that up. Now that he got it all set up, now he's coming back and he's getting rid of the old system, which is the dollar. You got AI and all that. AI needs electronic money. That's what the BRICS money gonna be. So, but Esau and these Illuminati bankers behind the scenes creating all that. Like I said before, they went to China a long time ago with the blueprint and started working on it over there. Now we're looking at the end result of it. And America, like I said, they left Spain in the Nina La Pena de Santa Marina and then came to America, set it up. Then they started working on disconnecting themselves from England. And it's a blue. All you have to do is follow them. And so now it's not. They got China out in front. You looking at it, it's all about China. No, Esau went there a long time ago. He behind the scenes. People, I heard somebody make a statement a couple of days ago about Biden. Everybody was getting in an uproar about it. Biden said that he got people he got to answer to. And they turned around and said, well, hell, he's the president. Who he got to answer to? Edomites. Esau the one ruling the world. Esau the one created and nursed America up to where it's at. Behind the scenes. He's doing the same thing with China. Same thing with Charlemagne, the French. Same thing with Great Britain. He's behind the scenes. And you have to understand that. He's the person behind the scenes doing all this. Ruling. And the objective is, like I said before, is to rule the world. They want to rule the world from Jerusalem, build a temple, and rule the world from Jerusalem for 1,000 years. That's their objective. That's what they want to do, but that's not what's gonna happen, because Most High got prophecies. And then not only that, he got a disdain for the Edomites. He's using them to fulfill prophecy. When that's done, he's gonna, like he said, it's gonna not be one Edomite remaining when he finishes with it. But you have to understand, they got us caught up on what they're giving us and on these races and nationalities. But Esau, Bible tells you, Esau is the one. Esau is Rome. Rome is the fourth beast. All we're looking at is different incarnations of that fourth beast, but it's still the fourth beast. And you have to understand that. Okay.
Significantly ahead of the EU at 19.4%, the US at 9.7%, and Japan at 1%. Within the EV realm, one of the most crucial components is the battery cells, which can represent up to 40% of a vehicle's cost. The key to creating a commercially viable EV lies in developing a powerful, reliable, and cost-effective battery. China possesses a distinct advantage in battery manufacturing. It commands a significant portion of the essential raw materials. While China may not be the primary source of natural resources for battery materials, it holds the majority of global refinery capacity for critical elements like cobalt, nickel sulfate, lithium hydroxide, and graphite. China's control over these chemical materials translates into ultimate dominance.
So now everybody want to know why China in Africa. That's why they in China. That's why they in Africa. Esau already long time ago knew what to do. He behind it. He got access to China. He got access to Africa. He the one behind the scenes, connecting all these dots, trying to bring about, like I said, his plan that he, like I said, he did the same thing in Bretton Woods. At the end of World War II, he was behind all the wars. And the final result was to bring about the false prophecy that that was Israel coming into the land in 1948. He set all that up. He's doing the same thing now. You have to understand is that he behind the scenes. He the puppet master. Okay.
Within the sector, a strategic pursuit that China initiated well in advance of other nations recognizing its significance. Indeed, other countries have begun to recognize the critical importance of securing battery materials and have initiated agreements with countries such as Chile and Australia to secure access to rare earth metal mines. Nevertheless, China's early start has provided its domestic companies with a long-standing and stable supply chain. So, how does this relate to the expansion of BRICS, particularly the inclusion of Argentina?
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best
Argentina's addition to BRICS enhances the bloc's access to lithium resources. This South American nation possesses the world's third-largest lithium reserves. According to a JP Morgan forecast from August 2022, Argentina's share of the global lithium supply is projected to increase from 6% in 2021 to 16% by 2030, surpassing Chile and becoming the world's second-largest lithium producer by 2027. Presently, Argentina boasts 13 lithium projects in its pipeline, surpassing any other country. With Argentina on board, BRICS will have 3 of the world's top 5 lithium producers, including China and Brazil. Additionally, BRICS aims to foster increased public and private investments in critical mineral supply chains among its member nations. Saudi Arabia, another newcomer to the bloc, is already making substantial investments in lithium and other critical minerals in Brazil. Recently, Saudi Arabia entered into a $2.6 billion deal to acquire a 10% stake in Vale's Base Metals division, Brazil's largest mining company, to gain access to various critical minerals, including nickel and copper. This partnership is pivotal for Saudi Arabia's ambition to produce 500,000 electric vehicles annually by 2030 through targeted investments. China is the big winner from.
So let's look at this. Like I was saying before, who's looking at that? Who's looking at the fact that that's what's coming? The electric cars. We throw it off on the gas cars, riding around in gas cars. They trying to get rid of the cars. Like I said, look at the market now. They're giving away cars, gas cars. So everything they're doing, we see now because of what's getting ready to happen, and the money that's going to be involved in it. And they got we sitting there, we sleeping. And like I'm saying, these people are 50 years ahead of us. So you say, well, why 50? Well, go to the Book of Jubilees. What's the Jubilee? 50 years. So they 50 years ahead of us. Way back 50 years ago or more, they already knew that Brazil and all these different countries, what they had and where they was going. That's why they formed BRICS. That's why he collaborating on this. Esau behind it. And so far it's working just like a charm. We sitting there fumbling with something else. Like I said, how is they gonna bring this into existence? Total chaos. That's what's coming. They gotta bring total chaos to bring this into admission. Just like with World War II, they had to bring total chaos to bring in the dollar. But for those fake Jews to return back to Israel, they had to bring in total chaos and then build everything back up. So that's what we're looking at now. That's what's getting ready to happen. Bring this in place, bring in the Road and Belt Initiative, which is that's Esau idea, not China. They tagging it on China, but these Illuminati bankers that's been go all the way back to Julius Caesar when they killed him, because he was going against the grain, and they killed him. So they way ahead of the game, and we sitting there fumbling with it. But like I said, the prophets and our forefathers and all us told us all this. We just fumbling with it. Okay.
BRICS expansion. If there's a shared characteristic that binds nearly all current and prospective BRICS members, it's their trade and investment ties with China.
Yeah.
While both Brazil and India have not engaged directly in China's Belt and Road Initiative, all the new additions have, and they hold significant positions as key trading partners with Beijing. As we've come to understand, crude oil stands as the largest traded commodity globally. With the inclusion of Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates into BRICS, countries like China, India, and Russia will find themselves less vulnerable to Western sanctions targeting their oil and gas industries. Moreover, this strategic move has the potential to further the process of de-dollarization if BRICS nations decide to move away from the petrodollar. Beyond that, China's concerns about securing essential minerals and rare earth elements, particularly lithium used in batteries, can be significantly alleviated. Argentina's wealth of lithium resources equips China to maintain its dominance in the electric vehicle and new energy sectors. These compelling reasons underscore why China eagerly anticipates the expansion of BRICS.
Okay, so one more thing was that this migrant crisis that I've been bringing up, and all how it escalating and all that. What's going on with that? Well, I showed you how it's Esau behind this. They putting a face on it like it's Chinese. So they lit up the Empire State Building back some 10 years ago with the Chinese colors that's on the Chinese flag, and everybody went in the uproar, and then it just dissipated. Nobody else they dealt with it no more. Well, that was a sign right there. How is China able to light up the Empire State Building on New Year's with a Chinese flag, and that's supposed to be the United States enemy? He's telling you they ain't, they running the United States. They lit the Empire State Building up, one of America's biggest iconic buildings. They lit it up with Chinese color, Chinese flag. That's why they want these immigrants in here. Like Biden said, I got to answer to it's some people I got to answer to. And they told him, get your ass out the way, let these immigrants come in here. If you can't do the job, then you're going to disappear. That's why you see all the chaos that's going on in America. They doing it. And everybody looking at everybody crazy, but when you understand what's going on, it ain't hard to figure out. They're bringing this place down. There's a way to do it. Okay, like I say, you can't. They couldn't have got that face, that false return in 1948. They couldn't have done that if they hadn't brought Hitler. They had to bring Hitler first, bring chaos. Then after they finished that, created that problem, and then brought a solution to it with World War II. Then it came with the Bretton Woods Agreement, and then they brought the Jews into the land of Israel. Like I said, then you say, well, what are you talking about? Then look at all the money they made after that. Just from people sending money to Israel. So look what they stay in the game now. Once they drop this dollar and bring chaos over here and wipe this place out. Look at the money they stay in the game. They got the Rolling Belt Initiative. This place is gonna be gone. They're doing it right in front of our face, but we sitting in front with JC and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and we can't see it. Brainwash. Okay. So, with that being said, anybody in the comments? Question? Okay, I got some need to know information right here. This is something else I wanted to deal with. It's got to do with the Jews, the Israelites, and the significance of understanding when they left Africa, when they originally left Africa, tied to the confusion that's going on now with where they at now and where our homeland is and all that. So let's look at this. So we need to know information.
To the 12. So y'all see the title. This is going to be about the Jews that fled into Africa. all right, after the Roman siege. All right, in this video, I'm going to touch on some geography. I'm going to go into.
So you said after the Roman siege, well, we know when it's Greeks, Antiochus that ran us out of here, not the Roman siege. Them Edomites in the land when Rome came.
Some undeniable proof that you did have Judean presence in the African continent, of course, all throughout Africa, North Africa, East Africa, as well as West Africa. We're also going to go into the scriptures. Now I want to show you the books that prove everything that I'm saying, as usual. Even though I already know the people watching this video, there's going to be those guys that don't care about the proof. They're going to put a dumb comment. Go ahead and put your dumb comment. What the dumb comment does is it gives you more into the algorithm anyway, which you hate. But anyway, so yes, as the title tells, you did have Judean presence in the continent of so-called Africa. Okay, now when we look at the Roman territories, all right, this is during the first triumvirate. When we look at the Roman territories, first of all, this spot right here, you see the spot right here, this spot is Israel. This spot is Israel, which is right next to the African continent. All right. Now, scholars are, and first of all, let me say this too. I should have said this in the beginning, but this isn't even far-fetched because biblically, the Israelites fled into Africa multiple times on multiple occasions, which I will get those scriptures in a minute. But now in conventional history, they like to tell you that Israel fled up north. They fled up north to avoid the Roman persecution. But I mean, in reality, even though this is a video focusing on the continent of Africa, in reality, the Israelites are all over all the four corners of the earth, and there were Israelites that went into the European continent, so-called European continent, as well as parts of Asia, so on and so forth. But like I said, the focus of this video is focusing on Africa, right? But yeah, this is Israel on the map. Now, it makes perfect sense that the Israelites would flee into Africa, considering the fact that the interior of Africa and below, the Romans did not have territories in there. Okay, and if they left Israel and went through here, this is Roman territory. Also, this is a Parthian Empire. You know, this really ain't got nothing to do with the video, but just a little side note. The Parthian Empire is pretty cool because historically, the Parthian Empire is pretty cool because they had a battery system. They had something known as the Parthian battery, also known as the Baghdad battery, which shows that there was knowledge of electricity all the way back in this time period. All right, but anyway, let's get into, and these are all the African spots, which is like parts of North Africa that Rome had settlements in. But let's get into the scriptures and prove to the fact that it's nothing new that the Israelites went into Africa. It's nothing new. They've been doing it all throughout the scriptures. We go to Genesis 46 and 6, right? Genesis 46 and 6. And they took their cattle and their goods, which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt. Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he with him into Egypt. So that's one example of Jacob and his sons and daughters going into Egypt, right?
So let's look at that right quick. So notice I was telling you that we need those flocks and herds. I mean, people don't really deal with that, but we need those flocks and herds to deal with our God. They making 3 times a day. They making sacrifices to him, rams, goats, and all these clean animals. So you see, they went into Egypt. Jacob, when the 70 souls went into Egypt, they had goats and all that. When they came out, when the Lord of hosts went and delivered them, they had rams, goats. Like I said before, now, do we have them? We ain't got them. So that right there in itself kills the notion that this our land. Where the animals at? They ain't over here. They ain't here. This ain't our land. And so, because he cut us off from communicating with him. How? We got to sacrifice to him. Everywhere that we see Jacob went, Abraham went, when they got there, they made a sacrifice. What they did, brought him to them. When they set the altar up, he showed up. That's why we don't have no rams now. We ain't got no altars, no animals to bring him. Okay.
Speaks on that again in Psalms 105 and 23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. So once again, Israel sojourned in the land of Ham. Israel sojourned in Egypt. So Israel sojourned in the land of Africa. Okay. So these are just instances. Let's get another one. 1 Kings 11 and 40. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. So Jeroboam fled into Egypt. Jeroboam, who was he? He was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay? Isaiah 52 and 4. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. All right, so our people been going, fleeing into Egypt. All right? Jeremiah 26 and 21. And when Jehoiakim, the king with all his mighty men, and all the princes heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid and fled and went into Egypt. All right? Jehoiakim was the son of Josiah, the last king of Judah. And the third, son of Josiah, and the third from the last king of Judah. We're just making this up. We don't have any proof. But
okay, so let's look at that right quick. So we see right there on all these different occasions they fled in Egypt. So I want to show you some how they hoodwinked us with this New Testament. We go to okay, I lost my train of thought. We go to Revelations. Go to Revelations right quick. Let me show you this. Okay, it says in I think it's chapter 12. Yeah, let me get it. Yeah, chapter 12. So it says this come out of the Old Testament. Like I said, they stuck it over here to bring JC to life. But it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, the woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head with a crown with 12 stars, right? And she being with child, right, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. So David the Messiah, this Israel, already got the child in the ground. The woman is the earth. Zion, David buried there. So that's the child. And she travailing in birth, right? And there appeared another one in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon. This is the four beasts. 7 heads is out of Daniel. 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. That's what I told you. That's the 10 times this beast gonna transform itself. We're in the last transformation. You're looking at it unfold. And this is the way the other 9 unfolded the same way. Esau went somewhere, he had a blueprint, then he set it up, then he brought it all there. Brought chaos on the scene to make it happen. We see it happening now. So verse 4, and his tail drew 4 part of the stars of heaven and did cast them into the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour the child, right? As soon as it was born, right? Then here we go right here, 5. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and the child was caught up under God, under the then 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, right? So we see right here what the brother telling you over and over again, they're going into Egypt. So it says right here, and the woman fled into the wilderness where her place was prepared of God. So where this place at? Egypt. Transatlantic slave trade, where we was at when they came and got us? In Africa, in Egypt. And Egypt is another name for Africa too. So we fled into the wilderness, a place prepared for us. We stayed there until transatlantic slave trade caught up with her in prophecy. But they took it out, they got it out of context by sticking it over here in Revelations when they dealing with JC. But that's what that's telling you right there. And the woman fled into the wilderness, into Egypt, to Africa, where she had a place prepared of God, of the Lord. And that she should be fed there for 1,000 whatever till transatlantic slave trade came. Prophecy caught on with us. But you can see how way out of context this is. Okay, so anyway.
In this video, I'm going to prove many so-called African Jews are documented by so-called white people. All right, now he said, many asserted the Jews were in Ethiopia race driven out of fear and hatred to seek a new home. Well, this guy made a similar statement when about the reliefs of Lachish. I'll explain in a minute. This is a guy by the name of Edward Hayes Plumtree, born in 1821, born in the 1800s. He wrote a book titled Assyrian and Babylonian Inscriptions in Their Bearing of the Old Testament Scriptures. Right? Now watch this. He's speaking about the reliefs of Lachish. These are the Lachish reliefs. All right? And he's specifically speaking about this part right here. All right, which we'll zoom in on that later. And he's going to compare these people to Ethiopians. All right? Page 448. It is significant that the captives are for the most part represented as having woolly hair, as though they had belonged to the Ethiopian army.
Talked about that last night.
So he's saying most of the captives had woolly hair, like Ethiopians.
Not straight hair.
All right, now someone could say, well, maybe these are pictures of Ethiopian captives. No, because this guy, Sir Austin Henry Layard, the Assyriologist, who was also born in the 1800s, he was born in 1817, he's going to state that these are, in fact, Jews. All right? You go to Discoveries in the Ruins of Nineveh and Babylon by Austin Henry Layard, page 129. He states, and this is the same picture, he states, the captives were undoubtedly Jews. Their physiognomy was strikingly indicated in the sculptures. All right, and once again, they were compared to have woolly hair like as of the Ethiopians. Why does he say that? Because this is a picture of a mid-century African woman, a bronze-head sculpture in the 1950s. Look at her hair. Look at the hair of the Hebrews in captivity on the Assyrian relief, the relief of Lachish. This is another African sculpture. Look at this. And look at the Assyrians playing Hebrews alive. Okay, even in the scriptures, the Israelites are compared to the Ethiopians. You go to Amos 9:7, which states, are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker? All right, other versions. Are not you Israelites the same to me as the Cushites, declares the Lord? Are ye not like the Cushites to me, O people of Israel? Are ye not like the Cushites to me, O children of Israel? Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? You people of Israel are like the people from Sudan, says the Lord. Aren't you people of Israel like the people of Cush to me? You Israelites are just like the Ethiopians in my sight. It's Judarum Terra when we add that all up. All right? Judarum Terra. All right, that's what that says. Land of the Jews. All right? Terra Judarum. Land of the Jews. English to Latin, Latin to English. Okay? Point blank, period. All right, now let's go to the next book. So that was another man. Let's go to the next book that speaks. All right, Leo Africanus. He was born in 1494. See what Leo Africanus had to say in his book, The History and Description of Africa and of the Notable Things Therein Contained, Volume 1. And we're going to go to page 32, where he states, howbeit they say that upon the Nile do inhabit two great populous nations, one of the Jews towards the west, under the government of a mighty king. See that? One of the Jews. Okay, because remember that I, once again, is a J. The other more southerly consistent of the Amazonians or warlike women, whereof we may speak, or at language, in our relation to the Mamanota, right? So the Amazon.
Let's look at that again. Okay. Check it out.
point blank, period. All right, now let's go to the next book. So that was another man. Let's go to the next book that speaks. All right, Leo Africanus. He was born in 1494. See what Leo Africanus had to say in his book, The History and Description of Africa and of the Notable Things Therein Contained, Volume 1. So we're going to go to page 32, where he states, howbeit they say that upon the Nile do inhabit two great populous nations, one of the Jews towards the west, under the government of a mighty king. See that? One.
So let's look at that right there. So let's say he said there's some people in Africa, right? This after the Israelites been cast out. You know where they went? I just showed you. They had a place prepared for them in Africa. So, but he said, notice what he said. They got a mighty king over them. Two different populations in Africa. The Africans and the Israelites. That's why the lady wrote the song. I am Shem. They calling me African, but they took me from Africa, but I'm Shem. That's why she wrote the song. But anyway, so 2 baskets of figs, right? So go back to Ezekiel chapter 1. I keep going now. When say that Jehoiakim was in his 5th year of captivity in Egypt, right? So in Babylon, he was in his 5th year of captivity. So what's that telling you? That's the real original king, son of David. The Most High had a covenant with David. That's the real king. He in captivity in Babylon, but Zedekiah is in Israel. There's 2 kings, 2 baskets of figs. Wicked ass figs, wicked ass Israelites that's in Israel, but the real king and Nebuchadnezzar took all the righteous people to Babylon for their good. Here you go right here again. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, we brought up Mansa Musa last night. It's the righteous king in Africa. Well, he showed up with the crown on his damn head and throwing gold every damn well. But how did he get to that position? The other king came to America with 2,000 ships. Come on. Like I say, you got copper colored people, but you got original people that he made, like I said, that was dark brown skinned, that Most High created and formed it. Different, it's the copper color, and these people did 2 different types of people. The ones that was already here. All this been hidden. And so they want to say that the king that was Mansa Musa king that was over him before he took the throne was killed in the Atlantic Ocean with those 2,000 ships. No, they found out later. They got over here and they saw villages set up, just like the Malian people where he came from had set up in Africa. So that means he made it here. Israelites. They found villages they had in the same manner, all of them. So, like I was saying before, he already told us his Israelites and scattered to all 4 corners of the earth. There go the Jews. You want to put some Israelites over in America? There they are. It ain't the ones they talking about, and this ain't on our land. But there it is right there. King, 2 kings. Like I said, the sign was on Mansa Musa was the damn crown. It was a different type of gold. Like the Most High said. Like the gold that was around the Lord of Hosts' waist in Daniel chapter 10. It stood out. That's why Daniel described it. Gold of Upas around his waist. So here come Mansa Musa on the scene throwing gold everywhere with this big ass crown, fat ass crown on his head. He can't be nothing else but a Hebrew. Okay, that's what brought the Edomites and the Portugals to the Africa, because Israel was there. They wanted the wealth that they had. Okay.
Of the Jews. Okay, because remember that I, once again, is a J. The other more southerly consistent of the Amazonians or warlike women, whereof we may speak, or at language in our relation to the Mamanota, right? So the Amazon, based on him saying the Amazon warlike women, we can put where this kingdom of the Judeans was, because he's speaking of the Dahomey woman warriors, known as the Dahomey Amazons. Now the Dahomey,
that was capturing us.
located in
It was
present
capturing us and bringing us over
that
here.
word Benin keeps popping up. And these would be Benin, Nigeria, Togo. So it'd be in this area. Once again, West Africa. What did he say? He said two great populations, one of the Jews towards the west, from the government of a mighty king. So once again, we know for a fact that Jews made it into the interiors of Africa because it's documented. Let's go to the next book. James Gray Jackson. All right, he was born in the 1800s as well, maybe even the 1700s because he died in 1850. James Gray Jackson. Let's see what he had to say. In his book, An Account of Timbuktu and Hausa Territories in the interior of Africa, page 475. Right? All right, notice it says what? It says what?
Notice this area where you see he had a place to pad of us. That's why they there. And they've been there. Okay?
But it says interior of Africa. This is interior of Africa, right? Now, this is what he had to say. 475. It says, page 187. Yehudi, a place of great trade. Yehudi, a place of great trade. This place is reported to be inhabited by one of the lost tribes of Israel, possibly an immigration from the tribe of Judah. Yehuda in African Arabic signifies Judah. Yehudi signifies Jew. It is not impossible that many of the lost tribes of Israel may be found dispersed in the interior region of Africa when we shall become better acquainted with that continent. Okay?
So see, they're doing the same thing again. This is what so many Negroes get caught up in. You got maybe on there. No, you can do something with that maybe. We're looking at it. And even today, we're looking over there now. With the rise of technology and all that, it ain't no maybe. They Israelites. Ain't no maybe. Just like the book of Enoch. You can't put no maybe on the damn book of Enoch. You look at the content. Yeah, come on. So, with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some questions and comments. Anybody have any questions or comments? What I was just listening to, you want to check that video out, is the Jews that fled in Africa, right? That's the name of the video. You want to go back and look at it. Any comments or questions about anything this week you want to bring up from last night or Thursday?
Shalom. I just want to just make a comment. You know, seeing all this that is being revealed and coming out, and again, always looking back at the prophecy and connecting the dots, it makes sense. And when you look before, I want to say right during pandemic time, when all of these so-called Hebrew Israelites were on these corners and saying things contrary to the prophecy, they no longer are on there. You can go on there now, and they shut them down. They're not even on these websites anymore. You can't even find them. But these things are being revealed, and if you just keep looking at this prophecy and connecting the dots, it enlightens you to more of the knowledge that you could have, or that you're getting in understanding why these things are so. All of the world catastrophes that are going on, you know, it's been prophesied, and we just continue to keep ourselves in that plumb line of knowing that we can't go along to get along with things that are not true, because there and there they unfold and make you look like the fool in which you're following. Shalom.
Okay, yeah, exactly. All right. Anybody else got anything? Yeah, so right here at this little point right here, I just want to thank everybody that support Prophets of Awakening, because you think it's insignificant, but it helps with the things that's going on around. Yeah, so I just want everybody to know that it's not that like you're not appreciated, you appreciate it. Okay. So with that being said, we play this and then we go into the lesson. Anybody got a comment? It's last chance.
I
Okay, here
just
you
want
go.
to comment again to say thank you, and I really appreciate being enlightened and to this and being able to be a part of the Prophets of Awakening. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, Papa Dog back with another highly requested video, and this is about when you know you got a real man. So I need y'all to pay close attention, okay? Because I'm gonna lay it on y'all. All right, jump right into it. You know you got a real man, right? A real man ain't gonna let you as his woman come out her mouth all kind of ways. Bitch this, hoe this, and y'all this. And a real man ain't gonna do that. Why? Because you represent him, and he care about how you verbally speak. Okay, it doesn't represent maturity. Feel what I'm saying? This ain't the little leagues, this the big leagues. When you dealing with a real man, a real guy with morals, he's not gonna let you come out your mouth like that, like you playing cards at the card table. Bitch, this, hoe, no, that ain't happening. That ain't what we doing. So please believe that if a dude care about how you talk verbally when you're out, that's a good characteristic that that man loves you, or at least he wanna pursue something in you that's more than just sex. Okay, we'll say that. Secondly, right, if you got kids, especially females, a real man ain't gonna walk around your children with his pants hanging off his ass, showing his drawers. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna walk around with his shirt off and all that. But that's very disrespectful when you have females. And a real woman ain't gonna allow that to happen.
Okay.
And that's real. You feel what I'm saying? And in some cases, man, y'all can't be placing on anybody around your female daughters or your male daughters. Cause boy, I just read listen, there's some wild things going on out there, and you can't place no anybody over your children. So you need to pay close attention to these things. See, a lot of y'all been dealing with these low vibrational dudes, man, for so long. To when the dude step in and really want to bring some structure to the situation, you feel me? Some of y'all get a little finicky. Some of y'all get a little, come on, bro. This is when, that's why I say some women want a real man, but I'm being real with you. Someone can't deal with a real man. A weak man is a real man to a lot of women. I'm ready to debate on that. I've been living long enough. You feel me? You can't tell me that. Some women, they can't take a real man because they so used to, maybe doing it on their own for so long or doing it how they want to do it. They develop this reality of this is what it is. But when you got a real man, you need to know as a real woman how to activate that real man or let that real man be a real man. So please pay close attention. You feel what I'm saying? Another thing is this. You got a real man around your kids. He's not going to be running around listening to all that suck this and fuck this music. You feel me? I'm going to give this and y'all, booty hole brown and all. He ain't going to do that. He ain't going to let you do it neither. Man, cut that off, man. Not around these kids. They're being real. These are the things you need to pay close attention to. But if you're so used to being with somebody, these dudes that run around, listen to all kind of crazy music, sometimes y'all do it too. Sometimes mothers do it too. Listen to, man, this music ain't for these kids, man. Get this in your head, man. Don't play that around them kids, man. For real. Don't do that. Them kids should know what WAP mean. Them kids should know what all these different terms. Don't do that, man. Because when they go to school, they embarrass you. Somebody doing something because kids mimic what they see, bro. So when you got a real dude or real man around your children, these are the things that's not going to happen. You understand me? Get in your head. Another thing is this, financially. It's nothing to give a person money. Some women feel like my man should keep me straight. He should give me money. He should give me money. It's nothing to give a person money. But a real man gonna not just say, I'm gonna give you money. No, let me show you how to make money. Let me show you how to build a business. Let me show you how to, if you can go work for them, you can work for yourself. Okay? Let me show you how to really be a boss. Y'all that boss, I'm a boss. You ain't no boss, man, until you paying employees or you paying them like Jay-Z say, when them statements come in. That's when you're a boss. Like, let's be real, bro. Let's not be on this fairy tale thing. But if you got a real dude in your life, he gonna show you how to boss up and get your own business. That's what you want. You can easily get somebody money, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. Be careful of dudes that just give you money if it ain't your husband or whatever, somebody you just messing with. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of dudes use their money to control you, man. I've been living long enough, you can't tell me. And a lot of women that get money from dudes that just get money. Y'all ain't married, y'all just fucking around, y'all get money. You ain't gonna open your mouth, that nigga come in that bitch 4, 5 in the morning. You ain't gonna open your mouth because he taking care of you. One of my OGs taught me a long time ago when we was in the club smoking. Bouncer walked up, hey, you can't smoke here. No, he did. Shot him a $50 bill. He let us smoke. No, he told me that nigga can be bought. Don't be one of them females that can be bought. Okay? At some point in your life, man, you got to boss up, man. And when you want to really boss up, you need a dude that can help you do that. Or a partner that can help you do that. So, all right, you're doing your thing, you fling ding, but at some point in your life, especially if you got kids, it's time to boss up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never too late to change that. And I'm just bringing some things to the forefront or some of the characteristics you'll know when you got a real man in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to try to help you get a business. Anybody can just give you money. Like you should, like they say in the Bible, man, you want to teach a man how to fish, he can eat whenever he wants. Because if something don't work out between y'all for whatever reason, you got a business. Taught you how to eat forever, whether he's there or not. You don't have to depend on him if it came to that. And I'm not saying, a lot of women be like, I'm independent. I feel like this, if your man get killed or if he go to prison, you have to step up and be independent, I get that. But to set out to be independent, and when you do things like get a car, get a house, do all this, and then be like, I did it independently, I did it by myself. You set out to do it by yourself. Of course you did it independently. You know what I'm saying? Got to get away from that shit, bro. Because we the only race, blacks, that represents independence. Now, you don't hear no other race saying that shit as a woman. Oh, I'm independent. We the only ones do that. But this trickle down from the higher ups, and a lot of people, this going to go over their head. All that bullshit music that they put out in front of us. All the stuff we see on TV. They paint that narrative. Strong black women. Man, I want a woman that knows when she got a man in her life that we can move together. Cause we can't move without each other. I don't give a damn how strong you is. You know how many women out there that making 6 figures or more got everything with nobody to share it with. Now, if that's what you want, kudos. But I don't want to die alone, bro. I would never salute that. You know what I'm saying? We always praising these broken relationships, and we never praise people that have been together 30, 40 years. So all I'm saying is this, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, and this other characteristics too, but I just throw a couple, out there at y'all so y'all can see that this is when you know you got somebody who want to be in your life and somebody who want to have something with you. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things that, as a man, he gonna stand on and he ain't finna let happen or let his woman do that or his family do that.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody got any feedback?
A lot of stuff that he was talking about, a lot of stuff that you was telling me about when I was down there. You know what I'm saying? For business-wise, independence, and, just showing me that, basically giving me the confidence that I never had nobody ever try to give me. Back then when I was coming up, man, they was telling you that the only way you can be successful is if you was out here doing street crimes and things like that. But you kind of showed me that that I had way more other skills than what I was saying. And that's what that kind of reminded me of when I heard that and how he was putting toward. I feel like when a lot of people, when they grow up wrong, they don't have that kind of guidance, and they feel like I feel like when you get a certain age, you kind of can still pick stuff up on by seeing other people. You see another grown man, yeah, you might be 30 years old and never had that guidance, but you see when you see positivity, you know how you can change. You know you can change, and you can actually teach your kids that. So I feel like what he was saying that was a strong message, man.
Right. Yeah, it's like mechanics, man. It's seed. Them was seeds. So you can't plant a seed and it don't grow, right?
That's true.
Right. So that's all they was seeds. And it's because I understood that. If you don't ever plant the seed, it ain't gonna damn grow. Yeah. So that's how that go. Yeah. So anybody else?
Shalom. Um, I I understood what he was saying, and thank you, young man, for your input on it. And there's all facets of life, uh, and how we were created, not just Adam, but Eve. So it has to be a two, not a one, And when you're able to find that one, or the Lord or host put you with that one, you got to understand that it takes two and not one. Shalom.
Right. True. Anybody else? Okay, yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read out of these Targums. Like I said, we already been reading at it all week, but I want to go to the part where when Jacob was fleeing from Jacob fled from Esau because Esau wanted to kill him because he had received the blessing from Isaac. So I'm gonna pick it up right there. Probably read maybe a chapter or so. Let me get it. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm in chapter 28. It says, Isaac summoned Jacob and gave him a blessing and a charge. Do not marry a Canaanite girl, he said. Set out now for Panorama to the people of your mother's grandfather Bethel. There, from among your uncle Laban's daughters, make a wife. God will bless you and give you many descendants, and they will establish many nations. He will grant Abraham blessings to you and cover your descendants so that you will take over the land which God gave to Abraham, a land where previously you had lived as a foreigner. And Isaac then sent Jacob on his way. Jacob headed toward Panorama, and, and Laban, son of Bethel, the Armenian, who was the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother. He said, now Esau was aware that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Panorama to find a wife, and he knew that included in the blessings was the charge of Jacob, not to marry Canaanite girls. So he saw that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and set out for Pandan Aram, and it was now clear to Esau that his Canaanite wives greatly displeased his father Isaac. Hoping to gain his father's pleasure, Esau went to Ishmael, Abraham's son, to seek another wife, one who was not a Canaanite. But Ishmael had died, so it was his firstborn son, Mira, who gave his sister Machalik to Esau to marry. Okay, so it says Jacob had been living in Bathsheba, and when he left there, he headed toward Haran. Coming to the familiar place after the sun had set, Jacob spent the night there. He took some stones, arranged them around his head for protection to lay down to sleep. He had a dream there, which he perceived as no ordinary dream. A ladder was standing on the ground, and it topped up toward heaven. Angels of God were going up and coming down the ladder. Suddenly he saw God standing over him, God said to him, I am God, Lord of Abraham, from whom you are descended, and the Lord of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land upon which you are lying. Your descendants will be as uncountable as the dust of the earth. You shall spread out in every direction, and all families of the earth will be blessed through you and your descendants. I am with you, and I will remain with you to protect you wherever you go until the day that I bring you back to this land, and I will not leave your side until I have fully kept this promise to you. Jacob awoke from his sleep. Truly, God is in his place, he said, but I was not aware of it. He was frightened. How awe-inspiring this place is, he exclaimed. This place is none other than the house of God, and it is the gate to heaven, right? Jacob got up early in the morning and took the stone that he had placed under his head. He stood it up like a pillar and poured oil on the top. He named the place Bethel. This site was within a village others called Luz, which was the name of Luz that had once grown there. And Jacob made a vow. Perhaps this was just a dream. If God will remain with me, he said, and if he would thus protect me on the journey I am taking, and sustain my body with food and clothing, so that I will be able to return to my father's house, then I will know it was more than a dream, and then I and my descendants will surely dedicate ourselves totally to God. Let this stone that I have set up, so he making a vow. Let this stone that I have set up as a memorial stone be as a temple of God. So we know later they built the temple in the same site. It says, although I have nothing now from all that God has blessed me with in the future, I will give it to him a tenth as a tithe. So I want to shine light on something right quick. So notice right here, Jacob saw this ladder, right? And he found out that was the gate. In the land over in the land of Canaan, it's where the gate to heaven. That's where angels was coming in and out from heaven into this dimension. But they came in through the land of Canaan, right? So that's where the 200 came in at. So it says, I'm gonna read this again. Then I want to go to another verse, connect some dots. So it says, Jacob awoke from his sleep. Check out what happened. Woke from his sleep. Truly, God is in his place, and he said, but I was not aware of it. Then it says he was frightened. See that? So you can't receive from the Most High in a way that you need to or want to if you ain't afraid of it. So he says he was affrighted. How awe-inspiring is this place? He exclaimed. This place is none other than the house of God, and it is the gate to heaven. Then Jacob got up early in the morning, took the stones that he had placed under his head. He stood it up like a pillar, poured oil upon the top of it. He named the place Bethel. This site was in a village others called Luz, which was the name of Luz that once had grown there. Jacob made a vow. There you go. Jacob made a vow. Perhaps this was just a dream. If God will remain with me, see that? If God will remain with me, he said, and if he will thus protect me on the journey, on the journey I am taking, and sustain my body with food and clothing, so that I be able to return to my father's house, then will I know that it was more than a dream. Then I and my descendants will surely dedicate ourselves totally to God. So let's see what this God is right here. He said he made a vow. You be with me everywhere I go and guide me all the way to where I'm going and come back to the land of Canaan where my father is. I'm gonna serve you. So let's see what this God is. I'm in Genesis 48. So this Jacob talking. Joseph and them, they ain't born yet. So I'm in Genesis chapter 48. Look at it right quick. So it says, this is when he was blessing he's blessing Joseph and his two sons. Joseph was was a Pharaoh in Egypt. And he getting ready to bless Joseph and Ephraim and Manasseh. So I'm gonna pick it up in verse 12, 40 and 12. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the youngest, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, check it out, here go to God again. He blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my father Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God who fed me all my life long this day. Then 16, the angel. It's an angel. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and in the name of my father Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow in the multitude of the midst of the earth. So it's an angel. He making it vow. I'm gonna read it again. I'm back over here in the Targums. It says, Jacob made a vow. Perhaps this was a dream. If he will remain with me, he said, and if he will just protect me on my journey I am taking, and sustain my body with food and clothing, so that I will be able to return to my father's house, then I will know that it was not a dream. And then I and my descendants will surely dedicate ourselves totally to God. So this God is the Lord of hosts. It's the angel. Okay. So anyway, keep going. Let the stone that I have set up as a memorial stone be a temple to God. I have nothing now, for all that God will bless me with in the future. I will give to him a tenth as a tithe. So I want to shine light on two things right here. So it says, let the stone that I have set up as a memorial stone be a temple to God, right? So this stone that he just laid his head on, had a dream, it's in Bethel, it's in Lug, it's on the earth. Well, we already see in the book of Enoch, God is of the universe, the creator, Yahweh, it's temple in heaven. So he don't need nobody to build him no temple. So this ain't, like I said, this ain't Yahweh. So this temple right here is to the Lord of hosts. You have to understand that. Then let's keep going. Although I have nothing now, so he broke, because if you go and understand the story, Esau sent men to rob Jacob when he left. His mom had gave him a whole bunch of stuff, valuable stuff, to send him on his way for gifts to give to his kinfolk when he got there, in order to obtain a wife. So, but Esau sent some men and robbed Jacob. They robbed Jacob. That's why he broke. When he had this right here at this where he saw this ladder at, he broke. He desperate, destitute, he broke. And so that's why he said this right here. I have nothing now from all that God will bless me with. So now go back to what I read the other day out of the Targums. It says what the Most High, what the Lord of hosts done, Yahweh done. He formed the words, fashioned the words, then he made them do what they do. That's what he's doing right here. He don't have shit. He says, I have nothing from all that God will bless me with. See that? He making it, he manifesting it. He says, I have nothing now. From all that God will bless me with in the future, I will give to him a tenth as a tithe. So we know it manifested itself, because he formed and fashioned it right here, the same way the creator doing, same way the angels doing. Okay? All right, so now we get into the meat. It says, Isaac set off briskly, heading eastward toward the populated area. He came to a place that had a well. He saw 3 flocks of sheep lying in the field near the well from which they were watered. The top of the well was covered with a large stone. It was when all the flocks came together there that the shepherds would roll the stone from the top of the well and the water their sheep. Then they would return the stone to the top of the well. Jacob approached the waiting shepherds and asked them, "From where do you come, brothers?" "We come from Haran," they answered. "Do you know Nekar's grandson Laban?" And they answered, "We know him." "Is he doing well?" They said. "He is well. And look, here his daughter Rachel coming with the sheep." And Jacob said to them, "It is still the middle of the day, too early to bring the flock together. It will be a long wait for you. Why do you not water your sheep and return to the fields to graze them?" They said, "We must wait for the flocks to come together, since all of us are needed to roll the stone on the top of the well. Then we can water the flocks." So what I want to inject right here, shine light on something. Go back to when Moses made the water come out of the rock. So the Lord of hosts, the angel, what Jacob just told you, it's an angel that sustained me. It's an angel I made the vow with. So he told Moses, the angel of the Lord of hosts told Moses, go on down to the rock where they want water. Go on down there. When you get there, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there, standing on top of the rock. But notice, the people can't see him. It's Moses can see him. Moses can see him. He's standing on the rock, the same rock Moses struck where the water came out. The Lord of hosts standing on the rock. So come right here. He just made a vow and asked the Lord to be with him. He wanted to get him a wife. That's why he over there to get him a wife and regain his wealth. So he just made that vow. Now we come down here and we can get to 29:4. Jacob approached the waiting shepherds and asked them, "From where do you come, brothers?" And we came from Haran, they answered. "Do you know Nekar's grandson Laban?" And they answered, "We know him." "Is he doing well?" They said. "He is well. Look, here's his daughter." See that? You think he ain't there? He's standing there just like he was standing on the rock. He there. So he says, "Do you know Nekar's grandson Laban?" And they answered, "We know him." "Is he doing well?" They said. "He is well." And he looked, right? And here's daughter Rachel coming with the sheep. Come on. Out of all the women in the world, it's Rachel. So you think he ain't there? So look, it says, daughter Rachel coming with the sheep. And Jacob said to them, "Is it still the middle of the day? Too early to bring the flocks together? It will be a long wait for you. Why do you not water your sheep now and return to the fields of grazing?" Then 29:8. They said, "We must wait for our flocks to come together, since all of us need to roll the stone from the top of the well. Then we can water the flock." See that? It's a setup. So, ain't no different than this when he set the Pharaoh up and drowned him in the water. So 29. While they were talking, Rachel drew closer. This is what we're looking for. This is the whole reason he's there. Leading her father's sheep, Jacob looked at his cousin Rachel as she brought his uncle's sheep closer. He went forward to the stone and alone rolled it from the top of the well. Then his uncle Laban's sheep came to drink. He went over to, notice the same thing happened with Eliezer when he found Rebecca. He was there. So it says, he went over to his cousin Rachel, kissed her, and wept at having arrived among his people after so long a journey. He told her that he was Rebekah's son, that he was related to her father. And Rachel ran to tell her father. And when Laban heard the news that Jacob had arrived, he ran to greet him. He embraced and kissed him and brought him home. Jacob told Laban all that had happened. Laban said to him, "Yes, I see that you have come here impoverished." So he told him that he got robbed and all that by Esau. "But you are my king. Come, stay with us." And Jacob stayed with him for a month. One day Laban said to Jacob, "We are such close relatives. You are like a brother to me. Why should you work for me unpaid? Tell me what your wage shall be." And Laban had 2 daughters. The older one was named Leah, and the younger one was named Rachel. And Leah was a fine looking, but her eyes were tender because she wept constantly while praying that she should not have to marry Esau. And Rachel was shapely and beautiful to look upon. Jacob had fallen in love with Rachel, and he now said, "As my wage, I will work for you for 7 years that I may take Rachel, your younger daughter, as my wife. It is better that I gave her to you than another man," replied Laban, "and you stay with me." Say, Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, but he loved her so much that it seemed like no more than a few days. Finally, the day came that Jacob spoke to Laban, saying to him, "I have completed the time offered. Give me my bride and let me marry her." And Laban invited all the local people and made a wedding feast. In the evening, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob. Now Rachel had given to her sister Leah the identifying sign that Jacob and Rachel had arranged between them. In the darkness of her tent, Leah gave Jacob the sign, and he believed that she was Rachel. So it was with Leah that Jacob consummated the marriage. And that same evening, Laban got Leah, his servant Zephnath, to be her handmaid. And when morning came, Jacob discovered that it was Leah who he had married, since having relations together was the unusual manner of establishing a couple's married status among the people of Aram. Jacob said to Laban, "How could you do this to me? You know that it was for me to marry Rachel that I worked for you. Why do you cheat me?" And Laban then said to him, "In my country, it is never done to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. But wait until this week of wedding celebrations for Leah is over. Then we will give you the other girl, and in turn, you will work for me for another 7 years." And Jacob accepted his terms and completed the week of wedding celebration for Leah. Laban then gave him his daughter Rachel to wed, and Laban gave to his daughter Rachel his servant Bilhah as a maidservant. And Jacob now consummated his marriage to Rachel. Although he loved Leah, he loved Rachel even more, and so he worked for Laban for another 7 years as he had agreed. See, God took note that Leah was not loved. Check this out. God took note that Leah was not loved by Jacob as much as he loved Rachel, and God made Leah fertile while Rachel remained barren. Leah became pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for the name reminded her of the word I can't say that word. Anyway, God took note for her troubles, and she said, "Surely now my husband will love me." She became pregnant again and had a son. God has heard that she was less, right? So she naming all these boys behind where her dealings with Jacob and with the Lord of hosts. And he has also given me this son. So she named the child Simeon. Leah became pregnant again, had a son, and now my husband will feel completely attached to me, she said, for I have given him 3 sons. And this was so, but Jacob gave his son the name Levi. And then she became pregnant yet again and had another son. And she said, I have come now that my husband loves me. With this son, God now has given me a gift, and I shall praise him. And she named him Yahuda. Leah then stopped having children. So let's look at this right here. This is what I was telling you about the names and all that. You sewing stuff into these kids with the name. It's not some happenstance thing that you do or routine thing you do. There's a lot going on with it. So if you go to what I just read, the last boy, Judah, she became pregnant yet again and had another son. And she said, I have come to know my husband. Check it out. This still in existence to this very day. I have come to know that my husband loves me with this son, the fourth one. Now she know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jacob loved her, right? And with this son, God now has given me a gift, and shall praise him. I shall praise him. So she named him Judah. So how you praise? Song and dance. Go back to the Levites. Go back to David. The Psalms and the singing in the temple. Come down here to the day, the Motown. That's where it all came from right here. She sold this. She sold this in Judah. That gift. See that? Back to fashioning the words. Okay? Anyway, Rachel, seeing that she was not bearing any children to Jacob, while her sister Leah gave him 4 sons, became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob, give me children, otherwise let me die. At this, Jacob became furious with Rachel. Am I God? He said, surely you know that it is he who has kept you from having children. So it's a whole bunch going on with this right here. I want to expound a little bit on it. So anyway, we saw that after the 3 angels came and shut down Sodom and Gomorrah, and these 2 Lot and his 2 daughters out, the only thing they were worried about was bringing forth children. So like I said, why? Just like right here, Moses sold it in them, and they sold it in Eve when he formed her. He sold it in her role. He sold it in her. Same thing these girls right here. Their whole thing is about they role, what they supposed to Moses sold in them long ago. So look at this and then think about getting an abortion. So your wires crossed. Your wires crossed. You know what I mean? It's something going on. Your wires crossed. Let me read it. Rachel, seeing that she was not bearing any children to Jacob. See that? That's her whole concern. While her sister Leah gave him 4 sons, became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob, give me children. Look at this. So she don't know who giving it. She don't understand it ain't Jacob that's giving the children. Give me children, otherwise let me die. She would have died. So think about that. You got women today, they having children and then getting an abortion. She ready to die because she ain't having no children. So look at this. He said, give me children, otherwise let me die. Then at this, Jacob became furious with Rachel. See that? So Jacob furious with Rachel. Am I God? See that? Am I the Lord of hosts? Come on. And he said, surely you do know that it is he who has kept you from having children. See that? So let that remain. Anyway, Rachel said, then take my handmaiden Bilhah and conceive a child with her. And when the baby is ready to be born, place Bilhah upon my lap. Okay, hold on. Okay, it says, Rachel said, take my handmaiden Bilhah and conceive a child with her. And I said, when the baby is ready to be born, place Bilhah upon my lap and have the child enter the world from between my knees. It will be as though I gave birth to the child. and I will be its foster mother, and it will be as if it is mine. So, like I was saying before, you would think that this is something they're just doing, but go back to the words. They forming the words now. So the handmaid been given to her, and then she turned around and had a baby, but she had to have a baby squat down in between Rachel's knees. So guess what? That's what happened with Ishmael. There's a hell of a lot more going on with this story with Hagar and Sarah. I showed you that Sarah couldn't have no kids. She gave Hagar to Abraham. Well, when she got pregnant, when the time came for her to have a baby, she did the same thing right here. This is where Rachel getting it from. So then after all that, now Hagar come back and mark Rachel because she got a baby at 90 years old. So now everything, the whole game changed. The understanding of what went down. Okay, anyway, Rachel then gave him her handmaiden Bilhah as a wife to him, and Jacob had relations with Bilhah. Bilhah became pregnant and gave birth to Jacob's son, and Rachel named him, saying, God has judged me and has also heard my prayer. He has finally given me a son. She therefore named the child Dan. And Rachel's handmaiden Bilhah became pregnant again and had a son by Jacob. And Rachel said, in many divine ways have I struggled with my sister, around and around, but through Bilhah my prayers have been answered, and I have won. And she named the child Naphtali. And Leah realized that she was no longer having children. She took her handmaiden Zephnath and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Soon, Leah's handmaiden Zephnath bore Jacob a son. A good fortune has come, Leah exclaimed, and she named the child Gad. And Leah's handmaiden Zephnath bore a second son to Jacob. My happiness continues to grow. And said Leah, and the other woman praised me for this. And so she named the boy Asher, the child Asher. One day in the late spring, during the wheat harvest, Reuben took a walk in the field, and there he found a dudum plant, passionate plant, and he picked those intoxicating, stimulating plants and brought them to his mother, Rachel. Admiring the plants, said to Leah, please give me some of your son Judah, right? Isn't it enough that you have taken away my husband, or wait, answered Leah, and now even you want to take away my son's Judah? Don't be upset, replied Rachel gently, although it is my turn tonight. Allow me to make a change, and Jacob will sleep with you tonight in exchange for your son Judah. And when Jacob came home that evening from the field, Leah went out to meet him. Tonight you will sleep with me, she said. Your due has been changed, for I have paid with my son Judah to have you for my husband this night. And it was so that Jacob slept with Leah this night. God took heed of Leah's yearnings, and she became pregnant, giving him to a fifth son to Jacob. And Leah said, because I have given my husband to I have given my handmaiden to my husband to bear children for me, God has given me a reward of another son. And so she named the child Issachar. Leah became pregnant again and bore Jacob a sixth son. God has given me a wonderful gift, she said, and now my husband will finally make the permanent home with me. She named the child Zebulun. And Leah then had a daughter, and she named her Dinah. God now took note of Rachel's sadness and made her fertile. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. And God has gathered many humiliations and removed them, she said. And she named the child Joseph. And Rachel then prayed, may God, the merciful one, grant another son to me. After Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, it's time for me to leave. Okay. Let me see something. Okay. Yeah, it says, God took note of Rachel's sadness and made her fertile, and she became pregnant and gave birth unto a son. God has gathered many humiliations and removed them, she said, and he named the child Joseph. Rachel then prayed, may God, the merciful one, grant me another son to me. After Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, it's time for me to leave, to go home to my own land. Permit me, my wives, and my children to be fully my own, since I have earned them by working for you, and we will leave together. You are well aware of the service I have done for you. Have we not become close? Replied Laban. I have made us of divination and have learned that it is because of you that God has blessed me. Just name your price, said Laban, and I will give you. You know full well how I work for you, replied Jacob, and how your livestock increased under my care. You had very little before I came, but since then it has increased and became very substantial. God bless you with my coming. But when shall I build my own estate? Then tell me what you want me to give you, said Laban. Jacob replied, I am not asking you to pay me wages. Just do this one thing for me, and I will come back and tend your sheep for another season, giving them the best care. We'll go through your flock together today, remove every lamb that's spotted or streaked, every sheep that has dark markings. Also remove every goat that is spotted, and I will continue this selection throughout the season. The pure white flock will be yours, and I will be paid with the rest. To demonstrate my honesty, I will let you inspect all that I have taken as my pay throughout this season. And any goat in my possession that is not spotted or streaked, or any sheep that is in my possession without dark or marking shall be considered as stolen from you. Agreed, replied Laban. Make all you have spoken come to pass. And that very day Laban removed all the ring and shriek he goats and all the spotted and shriek sheep goats, every one of the goats and sheep whose coat was not pure white. He gave those to his son to tend. He then separated himself from Jacob by a distance of 3 days' journey, leaving Jacob to tend the remaining flocks. And Jacob took rods from the nearby aspen, hazelnut, and chestnut trees. He peeled their bark their dark bark, uncovering the white within the rods in such a way as to create light and dark streaks. He set these up near the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink so that they could easily see the rods. It was near the trough that the flocks would mate. And when the animals mated in the presence of the striped rods, they bore young that were ringed, spotted, and streaked. And Jacob kept these young animals apart from the older ones. He turned Laban's animals continuously to face those which had these dark markings. He made sure to breed his flock separately from Laban's flock, so they would not mingle together. And whenever the strong animals mated at the trough, Jacob placed the rods in front of them. He did not do so when the sheep were feeble. Thus, the feeble sheep produced white young, and the strong sheep produced streaked and mottled young. The feeble sheep thus went to Laban, and the stronger sheep went to Jacob. Okay. And Jacob thus became tremendously wealthy, having many sheep and goats, as well as slaves, for men, both men and women, camel and donkeys. Laban's sons were talking among themselves, and Jacob overheard them. They were saying, Jacob has taken everything belonging to our father. He has become rich by taking our father's property. And Jacob began noticing too that Laban was less friendly and gracious than he had been until then. And God said to Jacob, go back to thy land of your fathers, to your birthplace, and know that I will be with you there. And Rachel and Leah were with his flock. And Jacob sent word to them to come to him. And he said to them, your father no longer looks kindly toward me. He no longer acts toward me as he used to. But the God of my fathers has remained with me in my discomfort. You know full well that I have served your father with all my strength. Your father cheated me and changed my wages at least 10 times. But God would not let him harm me. If he said your pay will be all the spotted ones, then all the animals gave birth to spotted young. If he said green ones will be your wage, then all the animals gave birth to green ones. You said it was God who reduced your father's flocks and increased mine. During this breeding season, a vision came upon me, and I saw that the bucks mounted the sheep were ringed, spotted, and flocked. It said, and the angel called to me in God's name, and he called to me Jacob, and he replied, yes. Raise your eyes, and you will see that all the bucks mounting the sheep are ringed, spotted, and feckled. Let this be a sign that I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made an oath to me. Now set out and leave this land and return to your land where you were born. So this is why I want to stop right here, but I want to shine light on this. Back to the angel thing. 31 and 10 says, during the breeding season, a vision came unto me. So this Jacob. I saw bucks mounting sheep with rings spotted and feckled. And the angel, here you go. And an angel called to me. So an angel called to me in God's name. Go back to Michael. That's what Michael means. He was like Yahweh. So he says, an angel called unto me in God's name. He called to me. So this angel talking, go back to Judges, says the angel came up and told them, I'm the God. I'm the one that you made the covenant with. The angel of the Lord told him, I made the covenant. So right here he says, he called to me, the angel called to me, Jacob. And I replied, yes. Then it says, and the angel said, raise your eyes and you will see that all the bucks mounting the sheep are ringed, spotted, and feckled. Let this be a sign that I have seen. Look at this. Let this be a sign that I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. It's the angel. I am the God of Bethel. So this is the God that he saw when the angel was coming up and down the ladders. Then he said he saw the Lord at the top of the ladder. It's the angel right here. He showed it. I'll read it one more time before I close. During the breeding season, a vision came upon me. I saw that the bucks mounting the sheep were ringed, spotted, and feckled. And an angel called to me in God's name. And he called to me Jacob. And I replied, yes. He said, the angel said, raise your eyes, and you will see that all of the bucks mounting the sheep are ringed, spotted, and feckled. Let this be a sign that I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made an oath to me. See that? Now set out and leave this land. Return to the land where you were born. So what's that telling us? He appeared to Jacob. Abraham the same way. It's an angel. He told Jacob, he told Abraham, leave your father's land and go back to, I'm gonna take you to a land where you're with milk and honey. So the same angel came right here. He told Jacob point blank right here, I'm the God of Bethel. Come on.
Shalom, you're right, sir. You're so right. Because when those women didn't listen, and they became barren, and then at the end, when he allowed the things to happen, it was a lesson in all of that about mixing all this lineage, and they went through these curses because of not being obedient.
Yeah, you're right. Anybody else have any comments or questions about what I was reading or anything they want to talk before we close out?
Shalom. I wanted to say, just keeps getting better and better, and we just keep learning and keep focusing and stay obedient, and the Lord of Hosts is going to bring David back, and things are going to be as they should be. Shalom.
Okay. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, everybody. I'll see y'all this evening at for the close out the Shabbat at 6 o'clock. Shalom, shalom, and
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom, and thank you.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, everyone.